5.45 by 39 can be one of the most confusing calibers with over 12 different rounds to choose from. It can be really overwhelming for the new player. So we're going to be doing some amazing armor testing and some ammo testing so you can make a conscious decision about what round is best for you. For the sake of time, we're only going to be testing 5 different ammos, working our way up from PS all the way to 7N39 Agolnik. These are the rounds that are probably worth your time, and anything below that is significantly worse. We're going to be testing everything here today on level 3, working our way up to level 6 on thorax only shots. All armors used will be at their maximum durability. Starting off here with 5.45 PS, the round that you get in any scav AK or any sort of basic starter AK that you find laying around. Coming in at 25 pen is not going to be super reliable, especially on class 3 and up. Good, noticing 6 hits for a Karsa is actually not too great. $15 on class 4. And a whopping 19 on class 5. As we move our way up to class 6, however, well, let's just put it this way. At 26 hits, just hope you don't run up against someone with class 6 when running PS. So what about a better version of the round here, BP? The round that I would recommend anyone start off with if you're diving into 5.45, and the one that comes in the AK when you buy it. Reliable class 3 here with 32. That 32 pen shows perfectly that it just rips straight through Karsa, zooms straight through. So now let's jump into level 4 and let's see how it stacks up. 7 hits for class 4 is actually a decent effort for a round like this, but when it gets to class 5, however, $10 here for class 5, and as we move to class 6, $18 for class 6 is actually still a lot of rounds, but significantly better than 5.45 PS. So we're going to be noticing here that it is a 3 less shots for class 3, zooming straight through with that reliable pen. As we work our way for class 4, 8 less shots, 9 less shots for level 5, and a whopping 8 less shots for level 6. This is actually really interesting with this round and has me interested about some of the ones as we work our way up. I think 5.45 BP is definitely the only round worth using in the beginning as we work our way up to the next better round here, which is BT. Coming at 37 pen, it's more likely to punch straight through class 4 armor with a whopping 44 damage. This is a really, really good round for beginning in 5.45. So let's see how that pen stacks up against a Karsa. Zipping straight through like I knew it would. You're going to be noticing that that 37 pen is no match for a level 3 Karsa. But how does that actually translate when it's not actually reliable on class 4? Four shots for class 4 is actually a significant improvement. Eight for class 5 as well. And 12 for class 6. This actually goes to show me that 5.45 BT is probably the best option here within a reasonable amount of money. We're going to be noticing a significantly better on class 4 performance here with 3 less shots, 2 less shots on class 5, and whopping 6 less on class 6. Making 5.45 BT definitely one of the best budget options poor 5.45 in my opinion, with reliable one taps on some of these class 4 helmets and especially visors. As we work our way up to 5.45 BS, this is where things get really interesting, and I noticed some weird bugs in the way that this ammo worked, but let's get into what they are with a reliable tap all the way up to class 5 armor. Let's jump straight into level 4. We didn't bother here with level 3 as we knew it would go straight through, but watch what happens on level 4 armor. Yes, you saw that correctly. That was 3 hits on level 4, although it should be 2 on paper. And that's where things get really interesting. Once again, 3 on class 5. And 5 on class 6. So I actually had to talk to No Food after midnight about this, and I actually thought my results were screwed. But it actually turns out that when the round passes through the armor, some of the flesh damage is lost. And 5.45 BS is actually not 2-tapping armor reliably, in fact, not at all. So we went back and did some more consistent testing to make sure that I wasn't missing or in fact doing something completely wrong. And once again, it was level 3 and we did it over and over again. And I'm actually going to jump into what is actually happening soon, but for now, let's have a look at the Golnik. 7N39, the god of all 5.45 rounds. These blue tip monsters coming in at 62 pen will zip through any class of armor in the game with a 100% chance to pen. However, at 37 damage should not 2-tap armor. But that's where things get really interesting. 7 in a Golnik right now up against class 4. Yes, you saw that correctly. And that was level 5, so... yeah. So when I first saw these results, I actually started to think something was significantly wrong with my testing. Or maybe something was wrong with fragmentation, and that's where I had to seek some outside help. See, the thing is, some of the rounds in this game are actually just registering twice, and we'll get into that in a second. I thought I might have been missing, so we did a lot of these tests over and over and over and over again, and I aimed really high with a Golnik here to make sure, and we also tried some different armors as well, and the results were always the same. 2-tap across all levels of armor. So let's jump into what's actually happening here. So what I actually thought happening at first was that the 2% chance to fragment was actually bugged and it was a 98% chance. But I think the interesting part is I was actually wrong. What is actually happening is sometimes in the Ballistics and Escape from Tarkov, the bullet is registered twice. One of the bullets does the full amount of damage and the other one does a 10 to 30% less damage. To prove this, that it was happening reliably, we went in with a few naked people here and we shot them in the chest once and then asked them to disconnect. They then sent me the screenshots of them getting hit, and then I also left the raid to see what my hit count would be. We also did this multiple different times to see if it would be reliable, and it was really interesting because these are the results from my screen. I used 4 shots and I actually hit these guys 8 times, and we did some of crunch the numbers here and we worked out that each bullet is doing 37 damage and then roughly an extra 32 damage on a Golnik. But a Golnik is not the only round doing this. In fact, 5.45 BS is also doing it as well. As you can see down the bottom here, that BS is not doing its 40 damage when it zips straight through a naked body, and then so is a Golnik is doing a whopping 70 damage sometimes, working its way to a rough average about 69 flesh damage. And this is because somehow in the game's coding that there are 2 individual bullets that are hitting the body at any given time. I'm not sure how many rounds are actually doing this, but the results were consistent across the board. 1 hit was actually counted as 2 hits, so every time I shot in the chest, I was being hit twice. And after doing all this testing, I noticed that 7N39 did this almost every single time, whereas BS had some issues where sometimes it would register as 40. So I think 5.45 right now needs a bit of love. I'm not sure what's actually going on, and I'm not sure what's happening within the ballistics of this game, but there are some bugs here that I really want to look into, and I'm really looking forward to diving into them more. If you guys really enjoyed this video, or you're curious about anything you watched here today, make sure you smack that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a ton, and we'll do some more testing in the future. If you want to see any sort of ammos, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.